Howdy everybody, Jeremy Snead here, Mediajuice Studios. This week we're talking about Mouser Electronics and the Innovation Spotlight. The Innovation Spotlight series is something we did for Mouser with our host Grant Imahara. Initially, the creative approach was, how do we choose topics that engineers or tinkerers would be interested in? And that kind of evolved into, let's do this episodically. And so we had several whiteboard meetings where out of that came the idea of hiring Grant Imahara, formerly of Mythbusters and the White Rabbit Project, to be the voice of this series and ultimately the voice of Mouser Electronics.
I'm just glad Mouser could play a part in empowering them. I'm Grant Imahara, and we'll see you next time.
Then it was deciding, okay, what topics are interesting to Mouser's audience and how do we go about capturing those in a series? Robotics, the future of space travel, 3D printing, the future of portable power, autonomous driving, and on and on and on. Once we had all those nailed down, then it was a lot of planning. We moved from creative approach to planning and logistics. Where are we going to go? When are we going to shoot these? Okay, I think we've got it. And so that was a big part of the process, collaborating with Mouser, with our host Grant, with Mouser's agency, and deciding we're going to go to Carnegie Mellon for this episode, and we're going to look at their robotics program.
I'm in the future.
Okay, we're good on audio? Because they have the leading robotics program, and have Grant talk with their professors and students about the bleeding edge work that they're doing there in robotics.
Carnegie Mellon! Show me your robot!
For autonomous vehicles and self-driving vehicles. We got some experts, some industry icons in that field, and decided to have some fun with it and rent a DeLorean. And instead of Grant sitting and talking with these great folks, we decided to pick one guy and have him drive around with this guy, Paul, and talk about the future of autonomous vehicles. And to do it in what better vehicle than Doc Brown's DeLorean time machine from Back to the Future. So we rented that from an individual in Los Angeles. We flew out there and we set up the car with GoPros and set up several vehicles outside to shoot the exteriors of the vehicle, capture audio of Grant talking with Paul.
How's that going to impact our society? So let's talk about the history of driverless cars. Paul, what makes a driverless car driverless? So what's your vision of the future of connected and driverless cars?
I got some great footage, got great sound bites and usable clips that we then crafted together into that episode on autonomous vehicles. It really went on and on from there. We had a lot of fun on that series.
How am I gonna get across the galaxy?
And each episode picking music and picking sound bites.
Grant, tell me your hopes and dreams for this project.
Editing all of the footage. When you're shooting location shoots with the host and with subjects, you get a lot more footage than you need for a 5 or 10 minute episode.
Grant Imahara here, outside my personal shop in the land of movie magic. To bring to life, to kick off.
And so a lot left on the cutting room floor, but a lot that's usable.
Okay, we're on audio. And action, Grant.
The same approach that I mentioned on some of the developer diaries applies here, which is we start with a content edit and we sit down and we look at all the interviews that Grant did with all the subjects, and we say, okay, we've got 2 hours of interviews. How do we take the essence of that? How do we edit that down into 5 minutes? How do we get all the best sound bites, all the great answers, cut out the ums, the ahs, the unusable stuff?
Okay, it's great.
Boom!
Love it.
There you go.
Once we have a content edit, then we take that and we do what's called a B-roll edit. So all the B-roll that we shot there on location or that was provided to us from the universities or companies that we were talking with, we then edit along with that content edit, and that kind of becomes the final edit, the music and sound effects, and then that's whittled down and presented to the client with all the graphics.
You know, it's truly amazing to be able to take a peek into the future and see how all these advancements in energy storage and power management are going to be keeping us connected.
Similar to documentaries and to developer diaries that I've mentioned before, creating animated graphics for the intro, for the outro, for the lower thirds is always a part of a project like this, and it's something that we do for every client. You want to have a graphics package that represents the brand, the subject matter, and bring that all together with continuity, in this case across multiple episodes. came together great. We really had a great time working on this series with Mauser Electronics and ended up winning a couple of Telly Awards actually for some of these episodes. So we know that the audience enjoyed them, Mauser really enjoyed them, and has them on their website. So check out the Innovation Spotlight series produced by Mediajuice Studios for our client Mauser Electronics.
Bringing Marvel technology to life. Let's go. Let's go.